My sister left her dog with me to babysit and today it got run over by a car and died. Me sister left her dog, I'll call her Maya, with me for 15 days. She is supposed to get back from vacation on Friday. She left Maya with us, me and my husband, because we love dogs and always pamper them. Today my husband was taking Maya to the groomers and took our dog with her for a walk. He was crossing the street, both dogs were on a leash, and a lady took a left turn at full speed and hit Maya, almost ran over my husband and my dog. Apparently Maya died instantly. I arrived at the scene, I was at home 5 minutes away, and saw that Maya was gone. We took her to the emergency vet and they confirm our worst fears. I have been crying non-stop and am consumed with guilt and sadness of what happened. I hate my boyfriend's dog so much I may leave him over it. I'm going to sound like the crazy girlfriend that's competing with her boyfriend's dog and that alone pisses me off. I fucking hate my boyfriend's basset hound, and for no fault of her own. When we first met he bragged about how he was basically paid to take this basset hound from an elderly couple, and that she's registered and has papers. Well, when helping him move, he found the papers so I took a gander at them. Yeah, she's registered alright, to fucking Petland. And honestly, I knew from the beginning she wasn't a schmancy fancy standard basset. She has a nervous/excited pee problem, so she pisses fucking everywhere. I'm talking, he has to let her outside when guests arrive so she can piss all over their feet when they're in the driveway, instead of pissing all over their feet when they're inside the house. You scold her for doing something bad and she pisses the floor. And she's a mischievous little shit. That's what happens when you get a ridiculously intelligent dog breed then give them nothing to stay entertained. So you're always catching her doing things so she's always pissing the floor. She also tucks her tail when she does this, so I shit you not, she flicks her piss all over you cause she's literally pissing on her own wagging tail. I have had her piss flicked onto my face on more than one occasion. Sometimes she even rolls around in her own piss to expose her belly. Despite how she literally rolls around in her piss, God how many times can I say piss? She has probably not had a bath in the entirety of 2023. She smells so bad, from piss and that god-awful hound scent that smells worse than normal dog smell. Her size is deceiving. Yes, her stomach may literally drag on the ground cause she's so short, but she's still a 70-pound dog that eats twice as much as my 45-pound border collie. She eats 2 cups of kibble per meal. She's a fucking giant bloodhound with the legs of a corgi. He has never trained her to not jump on people. In fact, he encourages it because he loves getting hugs from his baby. So you've got this 70-pound dog jumping all over you with her piss-soaked paws. She's nearly knocked me over and has scratched the fuck out of my stomach so many times. I have to refrain from kicking her in the stomach when she does it. Cue Peggy Hill talking about Hank's unhealthy attachment to Ladybird. This dog does not shut up. She whines constantly. Not petting her? Whines. Not talking to her? Whines. Not looking at her? Whines. Not doing all three at once? I wish I was being dramatic, but she will genuinely whine about it. Sometimes he insists that she sleeps between us under the covers. Okay, I didn't want to cuddle you anyways. For once I would love to experience some intimacy with my boyfriend without his dog also somehow involved. I wish I could tell you how many times she has disrupted our sex by pissing the floor. I thought I was being dramatic, but after the 3rd time it happened I started to believe that this might not be all in my head, but she will lose her shit when I'm about to orgasm. I mean hysterical whining or just straight up pissing in the floor next to the bed when I'm about to reach the tipping point. Do you know how many times I've got pulled out of my headspace because his goddamn dog is screaming and he's yelling at the dog to shut up? Or the sound of her pissing? I got new carpet installed a couple years ago. My dog never pees or poops inside. My boyfriend moved in a couple months ago and the entire carpet has been pissed on at some point already. And I'll be goddamn if I fucking train his dog that he has owned longer than we've been in a relationship. It doesn't matter anyways when he actively ignores the advice I give him. I can't train a dog myself. Everyone in the dog's life needs to train her. I finally get her to keep all 4 paws on the ground when taking a treat, then he just lets her literally leap 4 inches off the ground to get treats from him. I'm over it, and I'm tired of being with someone who makes me wish their dog would die sooner rather than later. My friend is getting too close to my 5-year-old little sister and I simply need to get it off of me. I've never been in a situation like this and I just really need to get it off of me, so sorry for it being very long. For context, I'm 16M and my friend is a 14M, my little sister 5F, technically my stepsister since she was my stepdad's kid but we're so close. I just refer to her as my little sister since she essentially glues herself to me when I get home from work every day. My mom and stepdad got together about 3 years ago and they moved in with me and my mom about 2 years ago. I'm also posting this on my alt account since he knows about my main one, and I don't want him knowing about me posting about this weekend. I had a sleepover with my friend and my best friend, essentially my brother, at my house, and of course, my little sister hung out with us for a while we played games in my room. My good friend who was with us, he doesn't care, has essentially a big brother to her. I think of it this way, when you were a kid you would have loved to hang out with your older sibling and their friends. I wouldn't know since I was an only child until my little sister came into play. But I've heard from others that have siblings that's how it is. Sounds stupid saying that for some reason to me at least, but still. Back to it, while we were at the sleepover, my friend had squatted down to her level a little behind her and whispered that she should shoot me with a Nerf gun he had given her, and behind them is a probably 5-foot-tall mirror that I have yet to hang in my room since it works fine just leaned against a wall, and I looked at the mirror, and a literal sort of shock went through me as his hand was cupped around her rear end with his fingers under her My good friend did not see this happen since he wasn't in the room. As I am typing this, I'm almost shaking, almost in tears, because I just really do not believe the person I've trusted as one of my best friends for the past 6 years could do such a thing to such an innocent life, especially that life being my own little sister. As it happened to try and get him away from her but not cause a scene, I guess. I lunged forward and grabbed the Nerf gun from her, and he stood up and backed away a bit as she ran towards me. The rest of the time we were with her he kept very close to her, and every time he did, I tried to intervene a little bit. Until about 9:30, maybe 10, since it was a weekend. She hugged my good friend before I walked her to bed after saying goodnight, but didn't even think about hugging him. Luckily, when I went and brought her to her room and put her to bed, which is I'd say 60% of the time my parents' job, but I do it sometimes when they are either sleeping or something else, I was gone for probably 20-ish minutes or more putting her to bed and waiting for her to fall asleep. When I had come back, he asked me why I put her to bed so early and said I should have let her sleep in here with us. I said to him, responding to why I made her go to sleep so early, I just said because she just turned 5 years old a few months ago or something like that, and then he had told me the next thing saying I should have let her sleep in my room with us since she was having so much fun hanging out with us, and I told him something like, do you want to deal with the off chance of her pissing in my bed in her sleep? Not thinking of it in a weird way. His response made me just stare at him for a second till he looked back down at his phone. His exact words were, I'll sleep in your bed if that's the case. Now I think almost all jokes are funny regardless of if they are offensive or not, but jokes about that kind of stuff just make me feel sick. I don't know if he was trying to make a joke or was dead serious or both, and it truly makes me feel sick thinking about it. I probably slept a total of 2 hours off and on that night cause I was so scared of him going into her room while I was sleeping, from being exhausted from almost 11-hour work day the same day since they really needed me that day. Then this happening in my mind, I was convinced he would try and do something to her. This is not the first instance that has been weird when it comes to her, but it's the first time I've visually seen him touch her like that. I've spoken to him a few times since then, and Terry's been 2 instances where we've all tried to schedule something where we could hang out, and both times has said I should bring her. Every single time I've made some excuse on why I can't go anymore. I can't think of many times has been alone with her at all. There's been times where I've taken my eye off of him near her, such as when one thing my good friend mentioned, we constantly will just go and drive around listening to music and get food. Since I got my license recently and got a company truck, he almost always sits in the back with her in her car seat whenever I bring her with us, and most of the time I am not looking at them in the back, I'm looking at the road since we're a bit distracted listening to music loudly and such. Another thing my friend mentioned is that Hess always talked about how Hess liked girls with blonde hair, and my little sister has blonde hair. I don't know if it's relevant, but I just can't get it out of my mind. This happened this recent Saturday into Sunday, and it's Monday night. I drove him home at about 1 p.m. Sunday since he had stuff to do. My parents were gone mostly the rest of Sunday since they will usually go out on a date or something every other Sunday while I watch my sister. I felt so bad for her the whole day, and I feel it's partially my fault for not stepping in more. My ex-husband killed himself 2 weeks ago. My ex killed himself 2 weeks ago. He jumped in front of a truck. We were not close, but we have a 14-year-old son who just had a birthday. I have no idea how to comfort him or help him cope with the loss of his dad. He seems detached from it all. Any help is appreciated. I took a shower after weeks. Yes, you read the title right. I didn't shower for weeks on end due to my depression. I was neglecting my hygiene and staying in bed all day, either sleeping or watching TV. Well, today, I took a shower and brushed my teeth. I even had music playing in the shower with my speaker. It's not much, but it's honest work, and I'm proud of myself for at least trying.